Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matters show. It's the 30th of January 26.
And it feels like we're starting the year on a really interesting note. We're seeing more than just earnings reports. We're seeing big strategic moves, governance tightening up. It's a lot.
It is a packed day. I think we have to start with Bursa Malaysia because, usually when you hear profits are down, and they did drop 12% in Q4, people get a little nervous.
They do. But the real story here wasn't the dip. It was the CEO coming out to address the whole free float issue for IPOs.
Right. The concern that big companies weren't offering enough shares to the public.
Exactly. And he basically said, look, the lower free float for these massive listings, it's all rule-based. It's not some arbitrary decision.
And the impact of that is it's about transparency, isn't it? It tells investors the rules of the game are clear, even when the market is a bit soft.
That's the foundation. And speaking of foundations, look at Petronas. They are not messing around.
No. I thought they're planning to drill 91 wells this year.
Yeah.
That's a huge ramp up.
It is a massive push for energy security. But there's even better news for their bottom line.
Oh, the tax refund?
That's the one. The Court of Appeal ordered the IRB to refund them, what was it, over 15 million ringgit?
So better energy security and a nice cash injection. Not a bad day for them.
Not at all. And that cash might come in handy because the aviation sector is making some very expensive, very ambitious moves.
You mean AirAsia closing in on that Airbus deal?
100 Airbus A220 jets. But if you read between the lines, this isn't just about adding more seats.
No, it feels like a pivot. The A220 is for longer, thinner routes, right?
Exactly. It's their ticket to bypass the crowded Southeast Asian market and maybe establish a real hub in the Middle East. It's a bold play.
While the legacy carriers, Malaysia Airlines and Singapore Airlines, are playing a totally different game.
A game of cooperation. They finally formalized that partnership. Revenue sharing, joint fares. They're basically a united front now.
Which, for you, the traveler, is just a massive win for connectivity. More options, more flexibility.
Absolutely. And that sort of optimism we're seeing in the air is definitely on the ground, too. KK Supermart is eyeing a listing.
And what a listing. Potentially valuing them at 3 billion ringgit. 3 billion.
It sounds like a lot, but look at the Airbus Group IPO. It was oversubscribed 46 times. The investor appetite is it's ravenous right now.
For retail, for engineering, and for physical properties, too. Pavilion REIT's income is up 11%.
Driven by hotels. And Sunway REIT just declared a record distribution. It feels like we're past the recovery talk. This is just growth now.
It really is. But before we move on from corporate news, I saw Alliance Bank launched an ESG playbook.
Ah, yes. It sounds like jargon, but for small and medium-sized manufacturers, this is basically a survival guide. It helps them meet those global sustainability standards so they don't get shut out of supply chains.
Which connects so well to the bigger picture. We're seeing the ringgit rally, and I think people are finally getting that it's not just about a weak U.S. dollar.
No, it's structural. It's driven by real foreign investment, like in data centers. That's sticky money. It's why consumer spending is expected to stay pretty steady.
Of course, the wild card is always oil prices. Brent crude just hit $71.
Yeah, that's geopolitical tension with Iran for you. It brings that volatility right back. But while things are messy globally, it seems like Malaysia is doing some house cleaning.
You're talking about the MAS-SIA detaining top officials from the Department of Environment?
The e-waste probe, yes. And at the same time, the government is introducing a bill to limit the prime minister's tenure.
To 2 terms. That's huge.
It's about institutionalizing checks and balances. It's a long-term move to reduce political risk, which investors love to see.
One last thing before we wrap. Nipah virus cases in India. A few years ago, that would have sent glove stocks into orbit.
Not this time. Analysts are saying a surge is unlikely. The market has, it's matured. No more panic buying.
And that really is the theme for today, isn't it? A maturing market.
It is. To sum it all up, today was a day of corporate expansion meeting some serious governance tightening. But I guess the real question to think about is this. With these high-profile corruption busts and term limits for the PM, are you seeing a permanent cultural shift in how things are run here, or is this just a passing phase?
That is the big question. A great thought to end on. That's all for our deep dive today. Don't forget to subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast so you won't miss any important updates to the Malaysian market news. Thanks for listening. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.